Hi and welcome. My name is Lou. I'm Principal Nutritionist, Psychotherapist and Hypnotherapist here at Light for Life. Today I am going to talk to you about arthritis and in particular osteoporosis. Did you realise that 1 in 5 women are affected by osteoporosis and as many as 1 in 20 men? And it's generally over the age of 65. Now, 65 isn't just the people that suffer. There is a thing called premature arthritis and people do suffer as young as children, so all the way through. But hey, don't wait till you are 65 to deal with it. Let's start changing your life style and your health and well-being to go forward so you have a really good, long, healthy life that is free from aches and pains. So osteoarthritis and osteoporosis is affecting an awful lot of our Australian population, and I'm going to run through my top 5 tips with you and help you get on the way to make those changes and make those changes now rather than waiting till it's too late and wait until you're in pain. But even if you're in pain, you can still do something about it now. So tip number 1, clean up your diet. Well, of course I was going to say that one. Cleaning up your diet is really important, and the reason is because when your diet isn't as good as it could be, you often find that your metabolic processes are not as good as they can be. And it starts a bit of a vicious cycle with increased inflammation markers. And when you have an increased inflammation marker, any of the good foods that you're eating, the antioxidants tend to be reduced, and the antioxidants become depleted, and when they are depleted, we also find that your immune system is severely affected by that. So we've got raised inflammation, depleted antioxidants, weakened immune system, and then on top of that you end up getting higher stress hormones being released, which isn't good for you. So it's a vicious cycle. So cleaning up your health and your diet is really step number 1 to improving your outcomes, future or current outcomes with osteoporosis. Tip number 2 is to support your joints. Now, if you've had a roll, a break, a sprain, a fracture, whatever, make sure you support your joints. So that could be if you're going for a walk and you haven't got suitable shoes on, making sure you've got suitable shoes on. I don't need to go into that too much, but make sure you support your joints, especially if you've had previous injuries, so look after that. Tip number 3 is to reduce your inflammation. Easier said than done. Now, I'm not talking by taking anti-inflammatories, I'm talking about reducing your inflammation by moving around, and especially first thing in the morning. Moving around first thing in the morning might not seem like a wonderful thing if you are suffering with osteoporosis, but the more you move around in the morning, the less likely the pain is going to be throughout the day. It will start to wean off and it will be depleted throughout the day. So gentle movements before rising. So while you're still in bed, start doing some stretching, moving that fluid around. So what happens is the synovial fluid needs to move around and lubricate the meniscus joints. So once that happens, your synovial fluid has moved around and lubricated your meniscus joints, the pain is depleted and starts to not be as prominent. So that is something that you can do. So if you think about oil on a bike chain, and it's got to go around the cogs, so a rusty bike chain won't go around the cogs very well. That's pretty much what's happening if you're not moving. But once you start moving and you've got the oil on the chain, it goes around the cogs and it goes really smoothly, and you can change gears on a bike. That's pretty much what's happening when your synovial fluid is moving around your body and lubricating your meniscus joints. So that is tip number 3, to decrease your inflammation. So tip number 4 is to increase your vitamin D exposure to either foods or optimizing it through getting out and about in safe sun exposure. If you're going early enough in the mornings, then that will help, and you can get safe sun exposure and get vitamin D from the sunshine, and you can also get it from the foods that you eat, and I'm happy to run through those sort of foods with you as well. And my tip number 5 is looking after your guts. Looking after your guts has never been more important. There has been over 30 years research done on gut health through medical practitioners and scientists looking at the cause and effects of health and well-being and what we eat and the problems it causes and the good foods and how reduced inflammation is part of a good diet. So looking after your guts is ever so important, especially if you're taking anti-inflammatories. If you're taking anti-inflammatories, or they're called NSAIDs, if you're taking those, you end up with huge nutrient and vitamin mineral depletions, especially with things like magnesium, which if you haven't got enough magnesium in your diet, you often get things like cramps, aches and pains, you don't tend to sleep well, headaches, a number of effects there. So magnesium is really essential. You can get depletion in iron. Now we need iron because it helps us transport our blood around our body and it gives us the energy and the oxygen into our blood and our cells. So we need iron and that is depleted. Calcium, our bones need calcium. So that's also depleted and then we suffer, you know, it's osteoarthritis or osteoporosis or arthritis. We need our calcium in our diets. And also vitamin B12, which is to do with our nerves. You know, you wouldn't realise that the aches and pains that you often get is because you're deficient in these things. And also our amino acids. So huge impacts and reasons why looking after your guts are really important. Now, if you are suffering, I'm more than happy to assist, but if you aren't suffering yet and you think it's not going to happen, don't sit on your laurels, look after your health now, and if it's time to get your health and well-being on track, then give me a call. My name is Lou, I'm the Principal Nutritionist, Psychotherapist and Hypnotherapist at Light for Life. For now, take care and I'll see you soon. Bye.